Hey everyone, please join me in welcoming Mike Lee, who's the Chief of the Law Enforcement Command at the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Obviously, Commissioner's Court in the county has been investing different kinds of programs. Some of them, more traditional law enforcement, and some of them more of a holistic approach. And just to start, maybe with some of the more bread and butter law enforcement investments. I know there was an initiative at the investigations unit, an overtime program. And can you just tell us a little bit about that and some of the success we saw?
Sure. The success or the program that you're referring to is the Violent Crime Reduction Initiative, what we call BCRI, and it was to address the backlog that we have in our violent crime offenses at the Harris County Sheriff's Office, which was significant. The results of the program reduced our backlog by 25%, and the real benefit to that program was it allowed our investigators that through that overtime funding provided by the court to respond to violent crime incidents in real time,
Right.
versus waiting until a officer completed a report and then investigators just weeks or months later just kind of stumbled through a pile of backlogged cases trying to solve it.
Right.
It allowed them to respond to a scene immediately and start working the leads from there. And so it not only helped reduce our backlog by 25%, our clearance rates started to skyrocket.
Right, and I know I've seen that the clearance rates at the sheriff's office are actually, very strong compared to other policing agencies. And so, one of the things we're actually looking to do in the proposed budget was add some permanent investigators. Now, I think that's going to be a challenge now, but we're gonna work together to see how we can keep up that momentum. And then another initiative I know is underway is we often call it Viper. We have an acronym for everything, just to make it a little harder for people to understand. But tell me a little bit about the Viper program, how it came together, and what effects it has.
So Viper came together, and you're right. In policing, if it doesn't have an acronym, it's not a real program. So
it's not any different on the civilian side of government either.
So Viper is the Violent Persons Task Force, and basically it was modeled after the very successful Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force. Mm-hmm. And the reality is we have so many wanted people that are wanted for very violent offenses like murder that are backlogged and need the warrants to be executed, that we asked the Commissioner's Court to fund basically what we're calling just a second Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force. They've been in operation a little over 6 weeks now. Their very first month, they arrested over 50 offenders for offenses, all aggravated offenses, including murder. So it's we're excited about that. It includes, and we like that it's collaborative. It has 6 of the constable agencies teamed with 8 Harris County deputies out there every day running those warrants.
Yeah, and I think both of those programs point to really a focus on the most violent offenses. And obviously, we've talked a lot about the overall amount of money invested in law enforcement, and that's obviously important. But also, I think, and appreciate you and the Sheriff's Office being a good partner, really focusing those resources on the most violent offenses. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about what's called the Holistic Assistance Response Team, or HART program. And I know this is actually a little bit of an alternative to a peace officer responding to the scene, but tell us a little bit about how it works to start.
Okay, so yeah, we're excited about HART. HART is about 8 months into the 1-year pilot, and in their first 8 months, they've taken just over 1,000 calls, 911 calls, off of the hands of law enforcement,
Right.
which basically has freed up over 700 hours that officers have been able to spend responding to violent crime. What HART, this alternative approach, the goal of it is to take these low-level calls and offenses off of the plate of the police, which we know police historically have been tasked with too many things.
Absolutely. I mean, I was thinking about that the other day, and I have a good friend who's a public school teacher. They often say, they ask us to deal with any kind of problem there is, right? Not just teach math, but, if there's a problem at home, if there's a health problem, it ends up on our plate. And, I imagine policing can often be the same way, right? People call when they have a problem and they want you to help, almost no matter what the problem is.
Correct. So Yes, heart, we're excited about it. It's showing the results that we were looking for.
Absolutely. And look, I at least my view is that it's certainly not holistic approaches to helping our community versus traditional law enforcement approaches. And I really think we're starting to build a track record of them working together, and hope that's where we keep going as a county.
Yep. Me too. I mean, and you're right, Dave. It's not one or the other. It's both.
Right. Yeah. And obviously it's a big county, so we need lots of tools in the toolbox. We'll wrap it up for there. Mike, again, really thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.